You guys sent me in your favorite artists, and I'm so excited to take a look. I've got a great list, and I'm gonna start with Stapleton Kearns. Stapleton Kearns is a landscape painter. He paints these very quintessential New England landscapes. The one that we're looking at right now, Autumn in the White Mountains, and I love the way he's created the depth leading all the way from the foreground to the tip top of that mountain. Really beautiful shapes that lead back there. I really enjoy that. And then the composition really flows very nicely in this landscape painting. Some people who are not as familiar with landscape painting may, kind of simplify it in their minds, but if you go out there and you do a landscape painting on site, you will quickly understand that this is quite a masterfully done painting. Really amazing control over color in this one right here. Very, very cool blue painting, really capturing the cold of this day. Also a challenge as a plein air painter is keeping warm in the cold weather. I went on a White Mountains trip with the New Hampshire Plein Air Painters group recently, and yeah, you gotta keep your feet warm, you gotta double coat your hands with gloves, and you gotta move that little paintbrush across the canvas. And depending on the type of paint that you're using, your paint can kind of like thicken up in the cold weather, which can be either a challenge or kind of a fun little change to your regular routine. Stapleton Kearns really seems to have a handle on landscape and really controlling any kind of subject matter that may be sitting in the landscape and the background as well. I really admire that. That's really wonderful stuff. All right, next on our list is Teresa Oaxaca. Teresa Oaxaca, wow, what a surprise! This painter has a beautiful and really large body of work here. I really enjoyed scoping this website out. She's got a very clear style and a very clear aesthetic. Really seems playful in subject matter. Like, look at the frames that she made. Like, these frames just really encapsulate, I think, the feeling that she's trying to get across. And I can just see that she's having so much fun with this world that she's building, and really enhancing a figure painting with the props of like this Baroque and masquerade sort of ideas. Really fun. Very, very good painter as well. See, she's doing something a little bit similar to John Singer Sargent, I think, where she's, from afar, it looks realistic, but you get up close and you can see all of this loose brushwork, just really getting the idea in there and moving on and not getting every little hair, not getting, too detailed. Really cool work, though. Really enjoying some of this play, like the blue dress and the stockings from Wizard of Oz. I'm loving the storytelling she's doing here. But yeah, loving the frames. And there's this great picture here of her working in the studio, and look at how cool she is. She's even dressed like her subjects. That's awesome. All right. Next on our list is Van Gogh. Everybody knows Van Gogh. He is just amazing. How does he do it? His work is so simple and yet so complex and so beautiful. It's like what we crave in painting. We crave this sense of being transported into another world that he's created. He just somehow puts it all together in such a beautiful, stylized way. I don't even know what to say. It's clear to me that he's amazing, and I don't even know what to say about that. All right, next on our list is Banksy. Banksy, whoa, cool. Banksy is obviously very well known these days for the street art, and he does both street art and interior art and murals. And he's just made quite a name for himself, I think, surrounding the mystery behind him. A lot of people didn't know who he was for a long time, and the kind of statements that he makes are just so poignant and relevant to the kinds of things that are happening in our society, and I really appreciate his commentary. I think a lot of people are responding to it. I like his imagery. He's so creative. His ideas are just one of a kind. All right, next on our list is Yuko Shimizu. And Yuko Shimizu is an illustrator. Yuko has this really cool style that's Asian-inspired, from woodblock prints and that sort of aesthetic. But she's really bringing in some very interesting commentary in her illustrations, very creative ideas in her illustrations. She's got a body of work that circles around people in striped clothing, and I don't really know what that's about, but I really enjoy that I can interpret that however I want. And to me, striped clothing says like jailbird, and it's kind of cool the way that her figures who are wearing it are like wearing these old-fashioned bathing suits that like cover their whole body, or I don't know, like stockings, you know, that cover a lot of their skin. And I just think maybe that's something that I could read into, but I enjoy that motif. Oh, and this is a cool one, and I see this one she used kind of like this halftone kind of texture, like a comic book kind of texture. And I really appreciate this picture and this style because I always like the look of halftone, but I was only able to ever see it in certain people's work, and I thought maybe it was like a little bit like isolated to those few artists. But I like the way she's used the halftone in her own style, and it just adds flair. You know, she's not even married to it. You know, the halftone only appears in certain places. It doesn't appear throughout everything. I like it used as a tool here. I think she's done a really good job with it. All right, the next and the last artist is Yoshitaka Amano. Yoshitaka Amano was the Final Fantasy artist in the earlier Final Fantasy games, and really a wide variety in his in this page that I'm looking at. He doesn't appear to have a website. This is Kotaku.com. I'm really glad that a conceptual artist is in here because conceptual art is so big right now, and people love the art of video games now. And I think that's something that's really important for artists to notice, because I can say from my own experience, my boyfriend is really into video games, and he will buy a video game based on the art. So he'll know that a certain game is coming out that has great graphics or a great style, and he'll go out and buy that game basically to look at art. That's why he's buying it. Sometimes he's in it for the art, and I think that that's a really interesting thing for artists to take note of. And so Yoshitaka Amano is a good example of an artist who works as a video game artist and has really made fine art a part of that work for video game design. And I just think that's so cool. And he's really big on the anime manga scene. And you can see there's quite a variety of media that he's using, whether it's traditional or digital, and he is able to have kind of a signature look throughout all of them, which is pretty cool. Guys, thank you so much for sending in your art this week. I had a great time reviewing it and learning about all these different artists, and it's really cool to take a peek into your brain and see what kind of art makes you happy, what kind of art, you know, really speaks to you, and why you like it. And I really like to hear from you in the comments about what you think about some of these artists. Also, don't forget to submit your favorite art for next week's art review. I'm still looking for your favorite artists, so just post them in the Facebook group at the link below, and I will review them next week. Thank you so much, guys. Bye!